Go.
White, qu'est-ce que je crois que ok, bonjour, tanishi tansei, bonjour, hola, hello. If I haven't said hello in a language or a way that speaks to your heart in this moment, please feel free to use the chat to share that or just say hello regardless. We are so grateful for each and every one of you for being here. I Today is a tricky day. Today is normally I'm like, hey, welcome to the show, joy, joy. And um, whilst I feel joy to be surrounded by these incredible people that are going to speak today, I feel also deeply aggressed that we've had to bring you in on a day that is so challenging in order to work, right? And to give. Um, and so, yes, and of course, all of the things that we're talking about the truth of this day are heavy things. But we're here to talk about reconciliation, that truth, and also reconciliation. So I'm really grateful. We have nearly 500 people, and the waterfall is increasing as we go. So we're going to move in and get started, and we'll see how we go. It is, of course, September 30th, the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, and all of you here have chosen to be with us to learn about Indigenous learning across the seasons and the work that you can do within these spaces. This came or was shared with me by another non-Indigenous person called Andrea Mann, who does a lot of work with Indigenous communities and youth. And it comes from the Yellowhead Institute. The link should go in the chat, but they are an Indigenous-led group out of an arts department at the University of Toronto. And this really spoke to me when I looked at this because as someone who cares deeply is in this work, the more work I do, the more work I realize I need to do, and that shifts and grows and adapts based on the more knowledge that I get, the less I know, basically. And then it starts the cycle of learning again, which is why this is such seasonal, year-round, lifelong learning. But it's really interesting because in multiple spaces, I'm going to show you a picture in a minute that talks about these sort of like performative allyship things and the hope that it's not that, but the things we do sometimes. We're wearing our shirts. There was a march today in my town. I called and left messages for the Indigenous people that have spoke to me and cared for me. And in my gym class this morning, we dedicated our workout to the land. We went out on the land. I taught them how to honor it and to give a land acknowledgement. I'm in Sinixt territory, intersecting along the banks of Sinhuinhuico through the Shikwe't the Okanagan Silk to the south and Tanaha to the east. And there's all these things of like, oh, we played Indigenous music. We made sure that money went to Indigenous creators. We wear our shirts. But it's really a performance in terms of showing that we're showing up. And we're hoping that in this lesson today, that as we go through this work, these courses, these spaces, that it can exist in those spaces or those givings, but also more deeply in the work we do as people, in the friendships we cultivate, in the relationships that we build with place, with land, with Indigenous people. So, just want to showcase that vulnerability of like how that can look on different layers at different times. This caring corner, trying to do this thing to take care of people's well-being, mental health, physical health, as we learn online, as we do this in today's particularly. And Jenna and I talked and we thought that we would do in this moment a caring moment of silence, let's say 30 seconds, or let's do a full minute for our Indigenous friends. So all these people who've shown up today to share with you who really should be healing, resting, taking care of themselves, are showing up to take care of us. Most of us here are probably non-Indigenous. And if you are Indigenous, this is for you too, who are dealing with the layers of feelings about this. And so we'll do a minute silence of just thinking about what this day means. gently coming back. Thank you. Jenna, I feel like you wanted to help us breathe, or maybe move through some of those feelings.
Yeah. So I've been learning that even on Zoom that we can create as a community if we all take some breath together. And so we'll breathe in through our nose, out through our mouth. We'll do it 3 times, and that'll just kind of those breaths in unison will create a stronger community for us to learn in together. Cook's Jam. All right, so let's just take a deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouths. And again, and out. And one last time. And out. Thank you, everyone. I already feel calmer. So helpful.
Cook's Jam, Jenna. Thank you so much. I really briefly want to just do this. I'm going to run through all the pages, but there are organizations, there are people, there are community partners. These are our partners, and these are the people who are paying their Indigenous presenters, who are uplifting Indigenous voices, who are signing their staff up for trainings, who are attempting to embed Indigenous ways of knowing in an authentic and non-appropriation way in the work that they do. And so look up these people because we have learnt them, built relationship with them, and those are the people that we hope that you can recognize as supporting in this really important work. Okay, we're going to move into the learning proper. And I feel like that was a really beautiful way to open, Jenna. Thank you so much for that. Just going to briefly introduce you before you go. And through this work, like of truth and reconciliation in my own practice, particularly over the last 5 years, but the 9 years since I've lived here, but the last 5 years, you, Jenna, have given so much of your time, your spirit, your energy to ensuring that myself and the other people in this organization have better understanding, have opportunities to grow, and have been the most generous with your gifts of anyone that I've ever met. I'm incredibly proud to call you a friend on top of a colleague. And thank you for all of the things that you do, and especially for being here today. So I'm very, very grateful for you.
Oh, Cook's Jam. I'm grateful for you too, and everyone here. Waito waita brasquestri Jenna Sequatmu ga esta stika de campus Giamgu Madan Gwasalton Ragicha Ri Gupi Barb Ragia Rasabina Cody and Rasla Ri Adrian Denise. And yeah, hello everyone. I'm Jenna. I'm the Director of Indigenous Learning at the Outdoor Learning School and Store. I'm Sequatmu and Tanaha. I live in Kempest, which is Shuswap, where my beautiful ancestors live, as well as the Kiskinek First Nation, this beautiful land. And yeah, I live here with my family, my husband and my 2 children. And my mom is Barb Cody. She's the chief of Shuswap Band. And my grandma was a residential school survivor. And she's passed away, as well as her grandma or her mom and dad. I'm just so grateful for today. This is definitely an interesting day of feeling for Indigenous people. And for non-Indigenous people, it's a sad day, but it's also a resilient day. I think we should also honor the truth of what happened, but also I am here and all Indigenous people are here because of the resilience of our ancestors who just never gave up. And so it's beautiful. And I really want to focus this year on our resilience and our brilliance because I don't think that's shared enough of all the incredible people in our past who taught us and gave us all these gifts and the beautiful people I learn from every day and more just incredible people, allies and Indigenous people just doing the really good work with a good heart and a good mind. So thank you. Thank you, everyone. Cookshem. Today, we're talking about how can you move on from National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. We can't just be this day doing the work. It has to be ongoing. And I'm so grateful that our team has created many different ways for us to continue this learning. Um, and that's what we're going to share today is what else can you do in Truth and Reconciliation? So we already did that. You can skip that one, Jade. All right. Okay. So we have many amazing people here today. And our first guest is Monique Grace Smith. She is going to be sharing these beautiful courses that she'll be doing with us this year. It has been so amazing. I can't even have the words of everything I've learned from Monique. She's just been her voice, her words, her spirit just really come through the screen. And I'm just so grateful for you. So yeah, I'll send it over to you to share your awesome.
Tanse, kinanas como Jade and Jenna, my heart's settled. When you were talking, Jenna, I was thinking about the beautiful children's book by Peggy Janiski and illustrated by, I believe it's Sherrelle Victor, where it's called The Secret Pocket. And the last 3 lines of that book are, we were geniuses, we are geniuses, and we will always be geniuses. And I love that. That's one of my favorite books. So, what do I have? 4 minutes? Is that what I have? Like 4 minutes? All right, I'm going to read from Tilly. I know I will talk about the courses, but it just felt like today, these teachings from Tilly and her grandma, especially her grandma. So at this scene, we meet Tilly when she's 11, and we get a sense of her relationship with her grandma, both when she comes to visit and when she goes home to her community in Saskatchewan. During her visits, Grandma Tilly taught me about being generous, about telling the truth and always treating other people with dignity and respect. Every night after dinner, she and I would sit outside and she'd pull out her pipe bag and load her pipe for her evening smoke. Come here, little Tilly, gather under my wing and let's talk about the day. With me tucked up close to her, we'd review our escapades and she would ask me, what did you learn today? And what was the best part? I missed her so much once she got home, but Grandma Tilly made a point of staying in touch by phone. She was on a party line in her community, and it was common to be on with her when someone cut in. Who's on the line? The person would ask. It's Tilly, and I'm on with little Tilly, and we gonna be a while. Once when I called her to talk about some things I was upset about at school, she told me, what you gotta remember, Tilly, is that everyone's born with love in their hearts. Sometimes life takes that away, but we're all born with it. So whenever you enter a room in your imagination, you can fill it with love and make enough room for everyone else to fill that room with love too. That, my girl, is when good things happen. I always felt better after my talks with Grandma Tilly. Her teachings, words, and stories were like medicine to me. So that's from Tilly. Oh, you can't really see, but the blurred Tilly, A Story of Hope and Resilience, that came out in 2013. And I just want to start there because both of these courses that I have coming in the fall are really about love, about stories, about how do we make space in that circle, that beautiful Cree word to wow, that there's always room in the circle. So the first one, I'm just going to share quickly my slide here. Um, you can see here, this is the Medicine of Stories starting November 5th. I did this series last year and it was so much fun and so engaging and really popular. So this year, the guests are Cherie Demeline on November 5th, Wabgishig Rice, December 3rd, Ivan Coyote on January 7th, and then Carolyn Roberts on February 4th. I really encourage you to register for all four of them. You can choose if you only want to listen to one of them, talk about stories and the medicine that stories can be. Because just like that reading from Grandma Tilly, right, that stories help us understand ourselves. Stories help us understand each other. Stories help us make sense of a world that doesn't make sense. Stories help us develop our empathy. They help us develop our compassion. They help us understand our common humanity. And boy, are we needing understanding of common humanity in the world right now. And these four storytellers are exceptional. So I really encourage you or your team at work or your family to join us. If you can't join us live for those sessions, they'll be up. Can you just jump in, Jade? I think it's for 2 weeks after, or is it 3 weeks
Yes,
after?
3 weeks recordings
Three
will be
weeks
available.
after. So even, if you're an educator and you're doing creative writing at school or English Lit or any courses and you want to share these with your learners, I think that's a beautiful opportunity for them to hear about how important stories are. So that's the first offering that's coming. And then the second offering is braiding sweetgrass. I don't know how to get this to show. Braiding sweetgrass for young adults. This will be the third time we're going through, back by popular request. And it's 4 segments, twice a week for 2 weeks. So it's kind of a jam-packed commitment, but I make the hour and 15 minutes engaging, vibrant, with tools to take away, things to attempt, ways to engage your learners, ways to engage yourself. Because when we think about truth and reconciliation, one of the key disrupts has been a connection to land, to the water, to the stars, and to language. And in Braiding Sweetgrass and Braiding Sweetgrass for Young Adults, Robin Wall Kimmerer really helps us to weave those back together. And yes, for your Indigenous learners for sure, but I think for all learners that, if you've been with me, you've probably heard me say that when we're outside and we smell that first inch and a half of the forest floor, or we smell the seaweed from the ocean or the rain the next day, in our brain goes down that cortisol, which is the stress hormone, which often young people are full of, and many adults. So that lowers the stress hormone and it increases oxytocin and dopamine. Those two neurotransmitters in our brain create a sense of belonging, a sense of connection, a sense of love. So when we come from that place of belonging and connection and love, one, our ability to learn is exemplified because cortisol impacts our ability to learn and remember. So those hormones of dopamine and oxytocin exemplify our ability to learn, to be present, and to be civil. So they're jam-packed, hour and 15 minutes. We do draws for door prizes. We do readings that come from Scotland, all ways to bring the beautiful teachings from Dr. Robin Wall Kimmerer to you, and hopefully then into your classroom, into your home, into your community. So that's really compact. If you reach out to Jade or Jenna or anybody on the outdoor learning team, you can get more information. But I don't want to take more time from the other guests this afternoon. So hi. Jade, Jenna, over to you, loves.
Sorry, I can see Jenna. My face is hidden, but I can see Jenna finding the button. But thank you so much, Monique. It is the greatest
Hey.
honor to listen to you speak. It's wonderful.
So beautiful. Your story about Tilly just reminds me of my grandma. Um, and I just love hearing it. Yeah, it just had some love for me. My grandma she just taught me the most. And just exactly what Tilly's grandma was, generous, kind, respectful, just open to anything, always yes. And I think my favorite part about her, well, everything, but she just accepted everyone as who they were and loved them as that person. And I think that's one of the most beautiful gifts she taught me and gave to me, because I strive to be like that every day.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing she was saying, or that I've heard, is about stories, is that I was trying to do a presentation, and I was like, how do I do truth and reconciliation in like this 45-minute time? And my friend was like, well, it's one story at a time. And it just brought me back to the Four Seasons, because that is, I think, our best gift from the Four Seasons is having those stories. I'll go into a little more, but we have presenters every month, and they share, well, I ask them to share their heart and what they think people should know. And so we have all these stories, and I think that's how we're going to learn, is one story at a time. And so Medicine of Stories is just that, and incredible, incredible speakers. Like, how I didn't think it could get any better, and then it does. It's just amazing. All these resilient and brilliant, and what was the word? Did you say it wasn't brilliant? What was the word about the people? We're all
Dynamic,
Geniuses.
invigorated. Oh, geniuses. Let's call them
geniuses.
geniuses.
Yes, yes. The geniuses.
Mm,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I'm going to talk about the Four Seasons, which is, we actually have 4 seasons now, which is like 4 years. And so I'll talk about season 1. My beautiful friend and colleague Jade will talk about season 2. We have Launa and Sherrelle from Rise Up sharing season 4, or season 3, sorry. And then I will talk about season 4. But then we also have some, it's not just that, we also have Indigenous language courses that 2 of my Indigenous sisters are going to share, Myah and Alyson. And then we have another course to share as well. So it's going to be a little jam-packed here for a minute. So we have the 4 seasons of Indigenous learning, and we'll start with season 1. I feel like I don't have time to tell you all everything, but it started with just Duncan and I. We wanted to, it was just after the 215 children at Kamloops, and we thought, it just can't be this one day. We need to do more. And so we committed to, well, we wanted to share with others all the different things about Indigenous people that we felt no one really knew about. And so we started kind of like I think we were doing an email a week, and we were just sharing knowledge that we knew and we were learning about. And it's just gone from, and we had people from our communities joining us, and we had local speakers, and it's just gone from that to what we have now. And season 1 is more like a colonial learning. We have modules, and so you listen to watch some videos or some PowerPoints, or listen to some different things about what's happened in Indigenous countries. So it's kind of like, you look at colonization, racism, history, you'll learn about treaties, residential schools, what UNDRIP is, kind of learning about terminology, reconciliation and restitution. And it's all kind of like online learning. But I've done it, I think like 5 times now. And every time I've learned something new, and we keep updating it as well. We work with reconciliation education for module 1, or for season 1, sorry. And I took it when I was the district vice principal for a district, and actually our whole district did it. It was just, I felt like it was the first step in reconciliation. And now we've had over, I think it's 15,000 people have taken this course. And so there's still more people in Canada though. And I think it would be amazing if we could get almost everyone to take it. I just think that learning is, we just don't know about the stories. We don't really know about the past. It's all really been hidden. And so I encourage you all, if you haven't taken it, to take season 1. And then I'll pass it over to you, Jade, for season 2.
Thank you so much. Gonna add a spotlight. Okay. So yes, I took season 1, which grew out of Jenna's work through posing questions and encouraging us to think about things within our organization, and it spread out. And then it was this understanding or knowing some history and some facts, because as a non-Indigenous person, I don't use the word settler, but as someone who has come here and is an immigrant, as a British person, we did not learn about this. We did not learn about the colonial things that my ancestors and that people that look and sound like me have done. But it turns out that I found out that neither did people in Canada until very, very recently. And so it wasn't that I knew less, it was that this was hidden, suppressed, um, uh, in schools and in educational spaces. And so this work moving from season 1 was to disrupt that and put it out there. And that works to a certain extent. And then you're like, okay, so I know some facts, some history. Generally, Canada-wide, you recognise that some places have treaties, some don't. All is on unceded stolen land, but where we are, we don't have treaties, and I don't know what that means. There are barely any Indigenous people where I live because they were forcefully removed, and the Sinaiaks were pushed south and out of into now what is the US, and the reservations that they built were on either side of where we were because the landscape was very challenging. And it took a long time to find out that information, and this is what learning from the land is for. So if, like me, you are non-Indigenous, or if you are Indigenous, or if you are a person who has connections to your place already, great. But for somebody coming in, this is all about, there's a workbook. It encourages you to go outside. There are many different incredible Indigenous people who've shared their thoughts and feelings about how you can connect. There is Indigenous mindfulness in there. With guided audios to take you out onto the land and to build relationship with the land, that was created by Launa and Sherrelle, that will speak for the next one. There are questions that challenge you. You are asked to learn basic words and how to say hello, and in the Indigenous language of the place that you call home. And so it is all about, wherever you are, building relationship to you and place. And it has transformed the way that I go through my life. It has transformed the way that I recreate. It's transformed the way that I believe about the environment and the world around me. It has given me a greater sense of love, purpose, connection on so many levels. And it was the starting point for building real, authentic relationships with Indigenous people, because I started to actually have a place of understanding Indigenous pedagogies and being like, oh, that's actually how my mum felt about nature. That's actually, we are a part of it, and it is a welcoming. So season 2, if you want to build more relationships with place, if you want to learn about the land and the people of the land where you are with more authenticity and depth, then season 2 is an amazing step, and it has again, it's changed my life.
Jen, Jade, thank you so much. I don't think you shared that you were part of the creating of this course, along with Alyson and Indigenous advisors and more. It's really built with love and a beautiful, beautiful course. Um, yeah, if you've taken season 1, you need to take this course. It really does change your way of thinking about the land that you're on, and you do build a connection. Season 3, oh my gosh. Launa and Sherrelle from Rise Up Wellness created this course with Jade, and I just learned so much from the two of you. And I was excited about the Wednesdays, because I get to hang out with you amazing women, and you were teaching me, because like I've said before, is that a lot of our knowledge has been taken, and we're just trying to reclaim it. And these are some of my teachers, so thank you. And please share share season 3 and just how amazing it is.
White, Tansei, Sherrelle Anderson, Nitsi Kiatson, Saddle Lake Ochiniwa. My name is Sherrelle Anderson. I'm a member of the Saddle Lake Cree Nation, and I just want to acknowledge that I am the granddaughter of Victoria Cardinal, and today, like every day, I honor her, but it's I want to take it from a strength-based approach, that it's her resilience that I'm honoring, and her kindness and love and humor that is the legacy that she left for me. And that's the most important part of who she is. And I'll give a brief overview of what Rise Up is. Launa and I started Rise Up about 5 years ago, because we saw a lack in services for urban Indigenous youth. We both grew up urban Indigenous, away from our communities, because of colonialism. Our families were pushed off the reserves and away from our communities. So for me personally, I always had a strong connection to like my Indigenous family, knowing I was Indigenous, and that was a positive thing for us. But I lacked like that cultural connection and the connection to the community. So like as an adult, like I'm a social worker by trade, if you can say that. And I wanted to, and Lana's a educator, and we came together and we became really good friends, and we have very like similarities, and we are like, oh, like how can we help in urban Indigenous kids or Indigenous kids and work from an upstream model. So we started offering on the land camps free of charge for all youth and or Indigenous youth, and we always leave space for non-Indigenous youth as well. But and just these camps are based around on the land knowledge and bringing in Indigenous facilitators just to create a connection. And then from there, we've snowballed into offering workshops on truth and reconciliation. And Lana's released 2 books, Heartbeat of the Earth and Whispers of the Earth, where we base a lot of our workshops on those in how to integrate Indigenous ways of knowing and being into your everyday lives. And so that's just like a quick snapshot of what Rise Up is. And I'll pass the feather to Launa so she can explain the season 3 of learning.
Cooksham Sherrelle and Cooksham Jade and Jenna. I am Launa Purcell, a member of the Statliam Nation Hackshaw Band, and great-granddaughter of Agnes Nelson, granddaughter of Alice Purcell, who I too am honoring today. And season 3, we really, when we had the opportunity to work with such a great organization as Outdoor Learning Store and School and CBean, we were very excited to stand behind our beliefs of the power of stories and personal stories in being able to make such a difficult topic often relatable. So Monique said something earlier in her reading about Tilly, about bringing love into the room and the power of that, of setting that space. So we really came at season 3 as let's hold a space that feels safe for everybody to ask the difficult questions, to wonder, is this appropriation? Am I doing this right? How can I approach community in a good way? Like all of those things for building relationships that are so important, to be grounded in stories and grounded in love and caring, that people can feel that it's a safe place. So in season 3, we really, the format is like, I like to think of it like a couple aunties gathering together and sharing our personal stories while sharing the important information around engagement of community and connecting to elders and knowledge keepers roles and protocols. Like what are important protocols if you're wanting to include a drum or stories or some of those things. Like just we like wanted some practical things that educators could use in their work, as well as anecdotal stories that make some of the teachings a bit more relatable. So we've really enjoyed it. being able to offer season 3 and look forward to connecting and having those chances for students who engage in it to have conversations with one another and connect over the information in a very comfortable environment. So yeah, Cooksham.
Cook's Gem. It was so safe, and you're both just so gracious. The questions that were asked and how you answered were just, I was overwhelmed just how beautiful you answered everything, and then with that kindness, which is a very special gift that you have, both of you. I'm learning so much from you, and I can't wait to take it again. All right, season 4. This is a new one. So we've done our learning. We've learned about, the past. We've gotten on the land. We're learning protocols, and now it's time. We got to do it. We got to take action. And so this year, myself, but also Joe Corona, who wrote the most incredible book, Wewa, about anti-Indigenous racism for educators, but honestly, it's for everyone. And when I read that book, I just kept writing all these different things that I could do to learn more. There's films that you can watch, books you can read, people that you can look up, and she just had all these actions that you can do. And I thought, you know what, that's what we need to do next, as Indigenous and non-Indigenous people, is we do have to take those steps. And so this year we're going to be working together, and kind of seeing what we can do in our own communities to support reconciliation. And we'll be learning, each month we'll be learning something new about reconciliation or an action we can take. And I'm very excited about what we're going to do. And I think I already have my idea for my action. But yeah, I'm going to save it for now. You guys have to come and join me to find out. Yeah, so it's just going to be great. And thank you. Everyone that's taken the 3 courses. So I've seen in the chats everyone saying, oh, I've taken 3. I'm just so proud of you all. That's incredible. And that's a lot of commitment. So Cooksham. So we have the 4 seasons. We have the amazing courses from Monique, Grace Smith. We also, oh, I didn't even talk about this part. Thank you. Okay. Before I go on to Indigenous languages, let's talk about our lineup this year, our presenters. I know I say this all the time, but I just can't believe people that I ask will be presenting for us. And every year, every presentation has been phenomenal. I've learned, I've cried, I've laughed, all the emotions. And this year, the same, like Leona Prince, I met when I was a district vice principal, and she just took me under her wing. And she's just this amazing Indigenous woman with this beautiful voice that always talks about resilience and brilliance. And she's also an author as well. Jesse Wente, he wrote the book Unreconciled, which I just really connected with, because I am also non-Indigenous, French and Scottish, and he is also non-Indigenous as well. So we just kind of have a different story. He also worked for CBC as a film critic. Dr. Lila June, she's from the States, the US, and she is just an activist. She works on food sovereignty. She's a singer, talks about Two-Eyed Seeing. Then we have David A. Robertson, who I read his book. It's like a series, and I think Miswa series, and it's for children. I read it with my children, not my students, and I just fell in love with the whole. It's kind of like Narnia, but decolonized, and just beautiful writing. And there's like 5 or 6 part of the book now, but he's written so much memoirs, and also he has 52 Ways to Reconcile that just came out this year as well. Just an incredible person, and I'm so thrilled to hear him speak. Deb Fisher is my Auntie Deb. She worked with my mom, Indigenous support workers at the high school. Those 2 were the dream team, and they've both gone on to be incredible Indigenous women. Deb works for the Métis BC. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I think I'm a little nervous right now. But she's just doing all this amazing work for Métis rights and children. Mark Thomas, he's a counselor from Shuswap Band, my band, and he's also the salmon chief. He's really dedicated his life to bringing salmon back to the Columbia River. And he's going to be a great speaker. He always is, sharing everything that he's done. And then Dr. Gregory Kahedi, he's written some incredible books. Native Science, Look to the Mountain. If you haven't read it yet, we do have Native Science, and we're hoping to get to Look to the Mountain, but it's just, it's really decolonizing science. And his books were written in the 90s, and they are the same today. Like, he is just way ahead of his time. I'm really hoping to bring his knowledge forward and work with him as well. It is really beautiful book, beautiful people. I'm just thrilled. These stories are going to be, yeah, they're going to be life-changing. And then another part of our organization is Indigenous languages. Learning as an Indigenous person, learning a language. I'm learning Secwepemctsín right now, which is my language, and it really does change who you are. You just connect with the local land so much more, and it does help with healing and your identity. And Myah and Alyson have just taken this on and are just wonderful hosts and work with the language teachers. And well, I'll just pass it on to you, ladies. Introduce yourselves and share your awesome work you've been doing.
Miigwech Jenna. Ani Bojo, Myah Indigenous Cause, Wawa Keshi Dodem, Toronto and Dunjaba. Hi, I'm Myah. I have been able to join the Outdoor Learning Store in the past little bit. I was working with Natural Curiosity as a program coordinator before I joined this team, and I also am a teacher in the Toronto District School Board at Kapapamachakwe Wandering Spirit School, which is a fully Indigenous school here in Toronto. I'm feeling the anxiety too. Normally I'm like very off the cuff, but I did write something down that I'm gonna read because I feel like I have to read it or I'm gonna get lost in my words. But I just wanted to, yeah, I wrote a little thing today. So, language carries more than grammar and vocabulary. It's a living vessel of identity, worldview, culture, and connection. When a language thrives, so too do relationships with ancestors, with the land, and with future generations. Languages encode ways of seeing, knowing, and being that are unique to each person. Revitalizing Indigenous language is an act of resistance, of healing, and of sovereignty. Reclaiming what was suppressed from us and affirming that Indigenous voices and knowledge systems have enduring value. When a language is lost, we not only lose words, but stories, songs, ceremonial teachings, ecological wisdom, maps, and everything encoded by that language. Rebuilding language revitalizes community, restores pride and intergenerational connection, and strengthens culture in every sphere of life. To me, language reclamation is deeply personal, and it's speaking back to histories of colonization and envisioning futures grounded in Indigenous worldview. I'm so deeply grateful to be a part of this team and the work that we get to do, and to work alongside Alyson is so amazing to me. I love this team. And so I'm going to pass it on to Alyson to talk about our upcoming languages, but I just want to say Chimigwech for having me on this panel. And thank you to everyone who is here tonight. I think being able to learn Indigenous language and learn throughout these seasons is a true act of resistance for not only Indigenous people, but non-Indigenous folks who are willing to be on this journey together. So I'm going to pass it to Alyson to talk about our courses.
Miigwech Myah. Wache Alyson Indigenous Kaswan, Ottawa, Ochinina, Toronto, Niwagin, Upsis Nanihinawan. My name is Alyson, and I grew up in Ottawa. I am Mushkegowuk, which is Swampy Cree and Irish on my dad's side, and French on my mom's side.
I grew up urban Indigenous in Ottawa, and my family didn't speak our language or know our teachings. And my journey to reconnection has led me to language. And learning Cree has really helped me deepen my understanding of myself as a Cree person and also my responsibilities as a Cree person. And as both Jenna and Myah talked about also, it's been a really big part of my healing journey. And so, as part of the work that I do with the Outdoor Learning School and Store, is that I coordinate and co-host, often with Myah, some of the Indigenous language classes, including Nehiawewin, which is Plains Cree, Ganyangeha, which is Mohawk, and Anishinaabemowin, which is Ojibwe. And since I've started doing it, like since we've had this going, we've had thousands of participants in these classes, which is so amazing and beautiful. And getting to be part of others' learning journeys, language learning journeys, has been a real gift and a joy. And I always say that it's my favorite job that I have because I get to be in these spaces of healing and resurgence. And it really means a lot to me to participate in that. And I also hear from non-Indigenous participants about the impact of the classes and what that's been. For some, it's developing a deeper understanding of local First Nations worldviews. And sometimes people hear, I hear people talk about strengthening, learning the language strengthens their ability to build relationships by greeting community members and introducing themselves in their language, which is also really beautiful. So the Indigenous language courses that we offer are virtual. Each session is recorded and available to participants of the course to catch up on missed classes or to watch again for review, or some people participate by following along with the recordings if the live scheduled class conflicts with their life or work schedule. The classes are typically 90 minutes and they take place once a week. And so usually our courses are 8 weeks in total. And we welcome all learners in the space, both Indigenous and non-Indigenous folks. We just have some important guidelines for participation if you're joining as a non-Indigenous learner. But we hope that you would consider joining a class to learn more about an Indigenous language from the land that you live and work on. And so we have 2 upcoming Anishinaabemowin beginner courses. Our fall course starts October 14th, and our winter course is starting January 6th. So if you missed the fall one, you can sign up for the winter one. And we also have a Tuscarora language class starting on January 21st. And then we are just setting dates for a winter Ganyangeha and Nehiawewin, which will both be starting in January. So that's Mohawk and Plains Cree. Miigwech. Hi, hi.
Ah, both of you, those words were beautiful. And I just love it started off with one course, I think, and now we've had so many different ones, and um, just all the Indigenous people that get to learn their language is just so amazing that we get to be a part of that. So thank you for being in those beautiful spaces. Amazing. I was feeling so sad, and now I'm feeling so good because sharing all of this work just gets me so excited. And just seeing all these Indigenous people and non-Indigenous people just getting together, it's just, oh, I feel so good right now. So Cooksham. All right, I have another course as well, Nukhwetwech, which means like working together. Um, so that we can work with Indigenous children and all children. My mom and Deb always said what's good for Indigenous children is good for all children. And so I just wanted to give a space where we can share experiences with about Indigenous children and how they're learning and what we can do to support the way that they learn, what would be best for Indigenous students. I always worry about when we're talking, when we're in class, like teachers, and they're talking about Indigenous learning, how it is for our students. And so I want to give some ideas to support that as well, because I know when I just the ways that I was growing up that people didn't know yet, and I just want to provide some ideas that can share so that we can make some changes so that students start to feel more inclusive and get to show their gifts at school. A lot of gifts that Indigenous children have are not what's in schools, and so I just want to provide ways that we can make that space for everyone and that everyone can shine. And so that will be in November. I think it's once a week. I think it's Wednesdays. I'll have to, I'm not sure. I can't remember because I'm nervous and excited at the same time right now. Yeah, so that's my course. It would be awesome if some more people could sign up. We only have about 30 right now, which is great. I'm super excited about that. I'll pass this on to Jade. Richard Van Camp, one of my favorite people. He is an amazing storyteller, and even online, like Monique, you feel like you're there, and he is just an amazing person.
He was your teacher, right? When you were at school, like in university. And he has become a guide, a mentor in my life as a creative person, especially. And if you come to one of his courses, if you come to one of his storytelling gatherings, but if you come to one of his courses, he gives many, many gifts, both orally and in the follow-up resources. And then he opens his door. So he's one of those people that the more you participate, the more you get. He wants to dive in. For those of you, perhaps, if you're Indigenous, great. It's just great to always spend time with new storytellers. But if you're a non-Indigenous person who wants to feel a deeper connection to how culture is shared and how meaningful and weighty and encompassing story can be. Richard Van Camp is an incredible person. He has Dene Hitchcoe is his cultural telling, but he gives so much understanding, and his storytelling is going to focus on how you can be creative as a person, about the miracles of life, about gratitude, teaching them from his culture, but they are relevant to you. He makes you feel safe and comfortable wherever your background is, to take that into your life and connect it to the way that you live. And I think that is one of the greatest gifts that as non-Indigenous people, as part of reconciliation, it's not like taking Indigenous knowledge and just keeping it, but then saying like, okay, how does that, influence the way that I teach? How can I use these ways of being and thinking in a way that honors who you are as a person as well, and what your experience is, and making it about your self-growth rather than just taking for the sake of taking. So Richard Van Camp, join us. It will be outrageous. He's hilarious. And it will also be very powerful and moving. He might tell you stories that make all of the goosebumps stand up on the back of all of you, not just your arms, of your whole body. So please join us. I will be there making notes, listening with an open heart too. So very, very grateful for that. I think that's it for the slideshow. But
Yeah,
Jenna,
I think we have time for a couple questions.
we totally do.
Yeah. And just,
Before, oh, you go.
well, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that showed up today. And if you're going to check out the recording, thank you for doing that as well. Yeah, and just my heart goes out to everyone today, Indigenous people. You're so brave, you're so beautiful, you're so brilliant, and I can't wait to see what this year will bring with gifts from Indigenous people and non-Indigenous people working together, which I feel like it's going to be a good year. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. I wonder if everyone here, there's a few people doing it. If we could give some reactions or a waterfall of thanks in the chat to all of these beautiful Indigenous women who showed up today for us, who gave on a day of depth of difficulty and showed this is really what resilience is. This is what culture is. This is what power is. I am so honored to sit in this space, listen to these incredible women speak. Thank you.
Yeah, this is an amazing team and beautiful.
Okay, questions. I have
Mhm.
just been listening and not looking at the sheet. So I'm wondering if we have some questions that came in. I'm going to find my little sheet here and I'm going to scroll to the important bit. A few people asked about different languages in the chat that I did see. Send a message to programs@outdoorlearning.com if there is a language that you are interested in learning. We do have things in talk for Inuktitut, for Dene, for Lakota. We're really working to, but we need to have relationships, authentic relationships to make those happen. So we are working on it, but please feel free to reach out. Somebody asked, are these courses for people across the USA or mostly for Canada?
Well, for season one, we do have the US course that we worked very hard on to get, you know, current information. And so I would encourage you to take that course. But I feel that everything is kind of very, I mean, it's similar, but also different. I want to honor that as well. And I think the feelings of Indigenous people across, I mean, the line is we were back and forth, you know, like we have family on both sides. So yes, come and join us.
And especially season 2 is really about relationship to place as well. So
Yeah.
if you've done season 1 and learn about the US history, and then you get to season 2 and you start to do that research yourself and go out into the world with a different lens and a different way of looking and seeing, then it can be so powerful.
Yeah. And so healing. More than you would think. Yeah.
We can't have you on mute. So if you're raising your hand, please ask your question in the chat or in the Q&A and we will get there. So someone's asking about pricing. There are a few tiers. The lowest always needs for free for Indigenous participants. But as a non-Indigenous person with major financial limitations, can we still use the lowest tier or make it accessible? What are our thoughts on that organizationally?
We'll make it work.
Yeah. If you send an email to programs@outdoorlearning.com, if you are in need, please just let us know and we can make something work. Miss Stefan Johnson asked, which season would be best for healing and mental health?
I would say season 2, just because that's more like a personal, that's your reflective, that's your time to just really kind of learn about yourself and the land. I think that connection is very healing. And yeah, I mean, you would learn and you would heal through all of them, but I think that one is really important. Yeah. And sending lots of love your way.
And sorry, it's pronounced Stephanie. Just let me know. I appreciate you.
Yep.
Sorry, I've got 900 things coming in. But thank you, Stephanie, for your question. That's helpful. And someone else just posted something which I think is really helpful, that they said, hey, I'd like to sponsor someone to take the course who is
Oh,
maybe, what a lovely way to pay it forward. So
oh my gosh, that's
if you,
amazing.
Yeah, if you want to sponsor someone, also email programs@outdoorlearning.com. If you're in a position to do that and you want to support somebody in doing this, because all of that, we're a non-profit, right? We're a charitable non-profit. Everything we make goes into supporting our Indigenous presenters, our Indigenous creators, and making sure that this is out there in the world. So if you can support somebody and you want to help, programs@outdoorlearning.com, and we can set that up.
That is beautiful.
Okay. Last question from someone is, do you have to take the seasons or the courses in order?
No, I mean, you do you. But I mean, it's just, yeah, I will. I'm tongue-tied. Yeah, I think it's best to do them in order, just because, year one, season one is just just kind of lightly brushes on everything. It's really not a one and done. Um, but if you feel that you have lots of knowledge already and you kind of want to skip to something else, I would say so. Yeah, it's up to you. I think what feels best for you is probably what's best, and they're all great. So I think no matter which spot you're in, it's do it. Yeah. What do you think, Jade?
Yeah, I think the colonial thing is we want you to work your way down the list.
Right.
And you'll notice, it's so hard when the courses, if you do work through them, through the seasons in order, you'll
Mhm.
notice that they become more decolonized, much less reading, quizzing,
Yeah.
ticking boxes, and moving much more into reflection and then discussion and then participation within small groups, face to face through Zoom, but still. So I think it does help you flow through the deepening and widening of the knowledge. But if you feel like you have connection to place already and you really are just looking to, like, I need to build relationships, I need to open and widen in that particular area, then jump in at season 3. But we yeah, again, follow your heart, what Jenna said.
Mhm. Yeah.
I recognize the time, and I recognize that these teachings should not be capped by time, but also recognize and want to honor the beautiful speakers who've taken this time out of their family time, out of their healing time to be with us. And so we'll close there. Before I give away a couple of gift cards to the Outdoor Learning School and store, it's for people who could put them towards courses or to any of these amazing Indigenous resources that have been shared. Is there anything else you wanted to say, Jenna, or anyone else within the group? Let me make everyone visible. Yeah, is there anybody else that wants to, or anything you want to say to close?
I'll just jump in quick because I've been talking lots, but like I was saying, I was feeling very sad at the beginning. I just, it's just the day, but then being with you and everyone online and just sharing all the work that we're doing and I'm just really proud right now. And I'm healed through this because not healed, I'm healing. I'm feeling the love here and just excited. So yeah, it's more people learning about the resilience and brilliance is wonderful. So thanks. Thanks everyone for being here too. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much to all of our wonderful presenters. If you need to leave, please feel free. I'm going to pick 2 guests at random from our list of attendees, and you will win a $25 gift card to the store. So the first one is Weston, Westin Grinwis, Grinwis, yes, Weston Grinwis, you're our first winner. We will find your email and we'll send you an email tomorrow. Along with everyone else, you will get a link to the recording and a follow-up email with support to access these resources tomorrow. By lunchtime, please check your spam if you don't find it. Our next winner is Isabella Ayala. So Isabella, Isabella. Ayala, Ayala, Isabella Ayala. We will contact you tomorrow. We do have a couple of gift cards to the Take Me Outside store as well for folks. They do sell orange shirts and other things that are Indigenous designed and created. So our first winner is Stephen Prince, Steven Prince, Prince, Stephen Prince. You're our third winner, and our final winner is Tristan Campbell, Tristin Campbell, Campbell. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. If your question wasn't answered and you are interested, someone asked about courses not being able to watch them live. They're all recorded, so you can watch them when it's convenient to you. But if you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to info@outdoorlearning.com or programs@outdoorlearning.com, and we will support you. Thank you, Jenna, Cook's Jam. Thank you, Myah. Thank you, Alyson. Thank you, Monique. Thank you, Rachel, who's been busy behind the scenes, and Duncan the same.
Yeah, thank you all. Yeah.
Take care.
Bye, everyone.